This is Dr. Laz from the Quest Center in Hollywood, Florida. And I'm happy you are joining me. We are walking to the music room. So, welcome. Let's see. All right. Here's just the outside. Let's go on in. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Music, the voice of the soul. Okay. How about this one? Music is life. That's why our hearts have beats. Okay. So let's go on into music. I just don't have my mask because I am all by myself. There's nobody here. So, welcome to the music room. And I always, when I come in, I feel a little bit like Mr. Rogers. For those of you who know who he is, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. But I always do because I usually come on in and kind of, instead of my sweater, I grab this vest. Get my vest on here. Yeah. All right, just so you can see, there's Quest Music Rocks. Beautiful. But I wear it this way. So this is on the front. And there's also all different kinds of pick symbols on the front. All right, and now I'm going to explain what that is in a little bit. Then I walk on over here. Okay, we have a rest and leisure area, as you can see. But let's do the dramatic countdown. Are you ready? Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, we try to make this as multi-sensory as possible. Yeah, so welcome to my music room at the Quest. And you can see that there's a lot of cool stuff around here. Lots of cool stuff. Got drums galore, congas, bongos, a full drum set. Leisure area over there. And some tables up here. You know, now since we're back in the building, I have to, make sure that they're social distancing. So we've got them about 6 feet apart. Just wanted to give you a general overview. All right. And that's usually where I do some instruction, sit and teach, get it all going over there. And I want to make the room as visually exciting, as multisensory, as relaxing for my students. At the Quest Center, the student population are all students with profound special needs. So you kind of got to put in a little extra effort to give your room some pizzazz. And while we were learning exclusively online, since the pandemic started. So I made a music room in my house and also turned it into a multi-sensory area, which I will show you guys later. But I thank you for coming in and participating in this Project M.O.V.E, which features all sorts of cool movement and musical experiential adventures for my students. I was going to say experiential experiences, but that wouldn't have flowed so well. So, yeah, I will now describe to you a little bit about what the M.O.V.E project is all about. And I just wanted to show you a little bit more of what my students can do when they're in the room. I use the large screen over there to assist in instruction. I have all different kinds of hands-on items over here, different instruments, and which I'll explain later. And I have a keyboard center over here. And the keyboard center is great. Make sure you've got headphones going. Okay, it's a big help if you're going to do any teaching. Okay, so as I mentioned, with my vest, so I'm sort of wearing all these different musical pictures on this vest, and it's just the picture laminated with a piece of Velcro on the back, and it stays right on this vest. I forget what material they call it. It's like a felt kind of material. And then this enables me to go to a student with limited or nonverbal skills, and I will tell them, I'll say, okay, I would like you to pick what instrument you want to play now. What would you like to play? So sometimes I have to bring it real close to them and move it around. And sometimes I actually have to hold their hand if they need hand over hand. And let's say, now you might be wondering, what is this? Do they look like drumsticks? You're right, but why the color, right? They seem to have lights, right, on the stick. Yeah, this is a favorite, I got to tell you. This is a favorite, and allow me to demonstrate. I'm going to put the phone down here, so this way you'll be able to see this. This is a big favorite in the music room, and these are light-up drumsticks. Come on, how cool is this, right? And so what I'll do is I can teach slow, fast, right? I can say, okay, let's start off slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's crank it up. Let's go faster. Oh, good job, good job, good job. Nice and fast. I like it. Let's slow it down now. Slow it down. Good. Excellent job. And I can teach them stop. Let's stop. Good. I can do counting stuff. Now that what we did is the single stroke roll, because it's 1 beat per hand. 1 beat per hand. And you're just going like right, left, 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 right, left. But these sticks are totally cool, right? Light up drumsticks. And of course you can get them on Amazon. Slow it down. Slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's stop. Good job. All right, now I want to teach the double stroke roll. So, by the way, before we do the double stroke roll, I just want to put in a little plug here that I'm a firm believer that drums and percussion can and should be the first instrument the student plays, because rhythm is the basis of all music. And if they can't stay in the groove, right, then, well, what good is it? You know, the drummers, there's a lot of jokes about drummers, and like how fast does a drummer play? And the answer is something like usually 1 or 2 beats ahead of the music because they're always speeding up. So I took drum lessons with the head percussionist of the Buffalo Philharmonic for 3 years with a metronome, and those things have no mercy when it comes if you not on the beat perfectly, forget about it. All right, let's do the double stroke roll, because the main 2 rudiments in music are the single stroke and now the double stroke. And I teach these to my students, obviously for those who are physically able to hold the sticks like this. And I can even do hand over hand with the students who aren't. But I teach them, and it just reinforces so many skills. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. 2 beats per stick. 2 beats per stick. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. Let's go, let's go. Here we go. Good. Let's go a little faster. That's beautiful. Let's slow it down. All right, good. And I teach my students, when somebody asks you for a drum roll, well, what you actually play is a double stroke roll. That's just 2 beats per stick. Okay, I'm not here to give you drum lessons, but to get you psyched about bringing some music into your classroom. Okay, you can have your students use any old sticks. They can clap their hands, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just to clap to the beat. They can stomp their feet, they can move to the beat, and that is really the definition of music, is just moving to a beat, how it makes your body move. Okay, so let's move on. Actually, before we move on, I wanted to share with you just a little bit about the basis of this M.O.V.E project. Initially, it was all online because we were all online. Instruction was all online. And since October, obviously, we're back in the building, and it was blended learning. So I would have a class that would come in, let's say of 8 students, and maybe 1 or 2 or 3, possibly even 4 students would be here, and the rest would be online. So I would have to make sure that my students had certain instruments at home that they were able to use and participate in the various music instruction. So here's a real easy thing to do, an easy thing to make sure. Now these out you can give away to your students. They're theirs to keep, which is what I did. And you probably know what these are, right? So we had a pickup for the students in the office. The parents would come in, or the guardians would come in, you know, if they were from a group home, and they would pick up one kazoo, and let's see if I can get this baby open, and one of these guys, which is awesome, which you're going to like. If I can figure out how to get this open. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, rocket science here, huh? And this is actually a nice metal harmonica. Now, I got this through another grant from the BEF, Broward Education Foundation. They rock. And every student was given a harmonica and a kazoo and a set of drumsticks. Now, they were like student drumsticks. They're shorter than these, and they don't light up. These guys are kind of expensive. They're around 20 bucks a pair, maybe even a little more. But they're totally awesome. So I use those in the room. They can use those in the room if they want. But everyone's given the kazoo. And so you can play music. Let's say you're playing a song. And it could be any particular genre of song. They can pick the genre of song that they want. They let them have input in terms of what kind of music they want to hear. And obviously you want to expose them to different forms of music. And really when I mentioned it was music online, it's really music and movement. The M stands for both. It's really the expressive arts. It's this idea of incorporating more of the expressive arts into your own classroom. And I'm going to demonstrate that in just a couple of minutes. But the kazoo is, a lot of people make the mistake. They try to blow on one end, they blow on the other, and nothing happens. Unlike the harmonica, which obviously if you blow on it, it does make a sound. So sometimes I have to tell them, no, you actually have to hum into it or sing into it while you're holding it in your mouth. You gently bite on it. Okay? Yeah. And here we go. So you have to actually make a noise from your mouth. You have to hum or sing. And this is great for my students with limited verbal ability or none, but they can make guttural sounds or noises. And so they will actually put them in their mouths, and they will sometimes just go, very cool, very easy to play, and they are fun. Okay, the kazoo. You can pick these up at the dollar store, but I got these online because they sell them in bulk. So I got a big box of it, which is very cool. And the harmonica. All right. I'm not expecting my students to be able to play music and, play songs already. But just to get them to put it in their mouths and so they learn how to do another instrument. Okay? So this is another way to get your students involved, whether it's online and remember, you want to model the behavior. You want to actually model first. If they're not getting it right, show them what happens when you blow into it. Nothing, no sound. But if I hum, do 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 do. Okay, happy birthday. Okay, the other thing that we gave to our online students, because I have a bunch of these in the classroom, wrist bells. And they are awesome because you can use these for kids who, again, with limited motor ability. These can go on your wrist or on your ankle. You can put these on your ankle. Okay, these are awesome. And so, let's say kids are you also can do hand over hand with them. All right, just so they're playing along. I guess the trick is listening to music is great. And most classrooms, unfortunately, do not do enough of that. And it's called the Mozart Effect. Okay, probably you've heard of that one, the Mozart Effect. It's the idea of putting on music in the background while your students are doing work. And that's awesome. And that's been shown in the literature to be effective. It stimulates certain parts of the brain. And by the way, go with classical. You don't want to put like Metallica on and have them start, throwing chairs and stuff like that. Okay? It's fun to do when they're on the drums and, pounding away on the drums and everybody's drumming and having a dandy all the time. But if they're just doing work and you just want to get some side benefit from music, so it's very cool to put on classical music. And I find that Vivaldi's Four Seasons is wonderful. It really does the job. Some classical music is kind of depressing, it's a lot of minor keys and stuff. But Vivaldi is more kind of upbeat in a way, and Mozart is more upbeat. A lot of major keys going on there. But it's called the Mozart Effect. So hey, why not use Mozart? But I want you to think about taking it a step further and turning your students not just into listeners of music, but to making them members of the band. Okay, we want to get them playing along with the music. So now at the Quest Center, we have students with profound special needs. A lot of kids in wheelchairs, a lot of students who are nonverbal. We have them from the age of like around 7, 8 years old all the way up to 21. So big, wide range as far as age goes, and certainly in abilities. And it is a center for individuals with profound special needs. So how do you get them involved in your instruction and in your music? And really, I got to put a little plug in here because special ed is nothing but good education. What is good education? It's student-centered. It's fun. If you look on my packet, you'll see what I call the various principles of good education, sort of the 7 commandments, I think I call it. But it's in my packet, and it describes some of these concepts if we keep them in mind while we're teaching. But the old school notion of just a teacher talking and yakking away for hours on end, and students taking notes, that does not work anymore, okay? So what do I do? How do I get my students involved? Well, one of the things you see on here is a student can pick this particular instrument, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the lights on. It's something I rarely do during class. Okay, I'll just give you another quick look at the room, make it nice and fun. I want when somebody runs away from another class, I want them to run here. First of all, we don't have to chase them. And second of all, you make your room as cool and as exciting and as motivational as possible. Any classroom. And really any lesson could be made fun, exciting, hands-on, experiential, and student-centered. Okay, let's put the lights on, and let me show you a couple cool things over here. All right, lights are on. So let's say I got a student who picks this over here. Now, they know already, this is a a device that teaches all sorts of cool things. One is it can just teach cause and effect. Let's make sure it's on. Look on the bottom. I think it is on. Yeah, cool. All right. So now when I push the switch over here, check out what happens. It lights up. Music comes on. And also a fan comes on. Now, the reason why the fan is not coming on, I see that it needs some batteries on the bottom. So those batteries are for the fan. This is something from Enabling Devices. I put that also in my packet. These are great for students who need a little more in terms of getting them involved, and for students who do need to learn something about cause and effect. I hit the switch and something happens. So then they learn, wow, okay, when I hit the switch, a lot of cool things happen. The lights come on, music comes on, and once the battery's in, the fan will come on. Okay? Let's go to the next one here. Okay, here we have, this is also switch activated, and it's a really cool instrument, and we use a lot of these here. Now, for students who, during the online instruction, so we also sent these home to the students. Now, they can't keep these because they're really expensive. They're from Enabling Devices, and you can also look up AbleNet. There are a couple links I put in the packet. And so if a student picks this, I know that they want some sort of device. Okay, so and we'll zero it down. Sometimes they do want this specific one. Sometimes they want one that's more like this. So now, let's say I got music going in the background. I'm playing guitar up there. It's shown on the big screen, which I will demonstrate in a couple minutes. So they're seeing it, they're hearing it, they're singing. I'm singing. They might be singing along with me. And some of the students, in particular, some of my students from wheelchairs, they will use this one. Again, it's switch activated. So let's see if we can get that. Oh, yeah. Pretty cool. Awesome. So now suddenly they are in the band, which is the coolest thing. They are now, excuse me guys, sorry. They are not just listening to music, but they are playing music. And by the way, in the literature, you can look up, there's one that's called This Is Your Brain on Music. It's a great book. When you are listening to music, it does awesome things for the brain. But when you are actively involved in the art of making music, it stimulates many more areas of the brain. So it's a great therapeutic tool, and it's great for all of us, right? We're all works in progress. And this is also from Enabling Devices, switch activated, a lot of fun. Now you can hook up a switch like this to anything. You can hook it up to a TV. You can hook it up to an iPad. You can hook it up to a DVD player, to a radio. So they learn if they want to hear something, again, they have to actively do something. So I think my main role, I see myself, my main role as I want to move them, I want to motivate them. I want to open doors for them. And what I mean by that is I want to move them from their usual role of being passive observers to more active participants. That's really it in a nutshell. I want them to be happier campers. And how can we do that? By helping them, some of them, come out of their shell, by really trying to motivate them and to help them tap into their potential, which is really limitless. There's no limit. We're really limited as teachers by our imagination. And that's the awesome thing about this Ideas Expo, is that the whole thing is really to get our brain wheels turning. Wow, how can I bring that into my classroom? How can I make my classroom a little bit more exciting? So you can do something just by bringing more music into your room. when you put on music, do movement with them, dance with them. Movement is amazing. So, the body needs to move. And, it's interesting for me as a teacher. So let's say when they come to music, which is one of the specials at the Quest Center. So I've had to work with the teacher assistants, and so the first thing they'll do is they'll say, okay, Joey, go sit down. Natasha, go sit down. Ashley, go sit down. And I'll tell them, no, we're not starting the instruction yet. I want them to walk around.
There you go, good. Good, there you go, awesome.
I call this the hub. You can see there's my vest is right back there behind me because I'm not using it right now. I'm going to be doing, let's say, some sing-along, some movement exercises, whatever it might be. And at the same time, so it's going to go from my laptop. It's going to be shown on the big screen. They're going to be able to hear it and see what I'm doing. And they will be like sitting out there, whether they're on the drums or they're at their wheelchairs. They're all going to be involved in some way. And the students who have very limited or, let's say, limited or very, perhaps even no physical ability other than you have to do hand over hand with them. So that's what we're going to do. Okay? All right. So let's see what we got over here. And what I try to do, there's so many awesome ways you can tie this in with your learning because there's songs about everything. So you want to tie it into your history class. There's great songs, that will tie into any lesson. There's even a song, it's done by Tom Lehrer, called The Elements, which goes through the elements of the periodic table, okay? The chemistry elements. No joke. And it's such a cool thing. One of my students actually memorized it when I was teaching in Buffalo. So music is a motivator, all right? Bring it into your classroom. If you can do a song about the elements of the periodic table, you can do a song about everything. Everything and anything, okay? So I want you to get your brain wheels thinking. How can I incorporate music into my classroom? How can I make my room a little bit more, bring in some pizzazz into the room, bring in some excitement? You want your students, they're like dying to get into your room. And every student in the building wants to get into your classroom because it's the coolest room to be in because of all the awesome things you're doing in your classroom. So does music enhance language arts? There is no doubt about that, right? Because you got to learn words, you got to learn what the words mean. You're enhancing vocabulary. You're talking about building vocabulary. It enhances every academic skill out there. All right. So think about what you can do. Now, typically, what I will do is I will start with a song that I want to get them excited to get involved. So I usually pick one that has kids in it. Okay, it could be kids and adults, but I don't just want just adults. I want students in there as well. So I'm going to actually recommend a site. It's called Playing for Change, of which I am a member of. And one of these days I hope to actually perform with them. And the cool thing is they have kids, students, and adults playing from all over the world. They really do. That's their whole basis, and it's called Playing for Change. So look them up. They have lots and lots of great songs out there, usually all of them with very positive messages. Okay? Now, I like rap, but you got to be careful with rap because some of the words and lyrics are R-rated or worse, so you got to really watch out. But there are a lot of positive rap tunes as well, so don't limit yourself. But I like to get it where at least there's some students. So here's a great one, and you're probably going to recognize this song. All right, now just again, you want to model behaviors. I will either play along, or I will play along on a percussion instrument, or I'll play along on a homemade instrument, of which I will tell you afterwards. Okay, but for right now, I'm going to actually play along on the guitar. And here we go. Okay, and let's get the song going. A lot of cool things with homemade instruments, because really anytime you hit one thing against another and it makes a sound, well, that's a percussion instrument. So your hands clapping, your fingers snapping. So again, one of the ways I can psych out my students, get them interested in percussion, is this is also at that Playing for Change website. And just go to YouTube and go Playing for Change. Now this is a great song by Kool and the Gang, Celebrate. Celebrate, good time, come on, right? But check out the percussion in the beginning, and then I move right into making instruments with my students. Here we go. Check this out. Very cool. I'm just going to show you the beginning here. I'm going to show you here. All right. Some of you probably know how to do that. I do not know how to do that. In the beginning, it is such a cool thing. It's just your hands, a cup, and the ground. And you're just getting all these cool effects from it. Let's show that to them. Okay, so now let's go over here, and I want to show you some of the easy schmeezy homemade instruments that you can do really, not just easily, but very cheaply. Listo. Go, Sean. All right, let's do some homemade instruments. These are things I did online with my students, and I also do in the classroom. So I always tell them, if you got an empty container, save it. A raisin container? Oh, come on, look at this. Organic raisins? The best. Okay, let's say that's not loud enough. All right, let's put in some bells. Put in some bells. Here we go. Yeah, thank you, empty raisin container. Okay, this is going to be the battle of the cups. Krispy Kreme, Starbucks, oh yeah. Well, let's just do those two for right now, okay? And you'll see how easy they are. Okay, Krispy Kreme container, and it has lentils inside, okay? And you can tape it so it's more permanent. Great sound. All right, now let's say you want to just teach 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. How about the Starbucks cup? Now, people have told me, oh my, this is the best thing that happened to a $5 cup of coffee, is that you save it and turn it into a percussion instrument. Hey. Totally cool. This has croutons. All right, croutons in the cup. Put it on the top. I taped over the hole here, so it's not going to come out on you, and you want to hold it. Now, again, you can tape the thing down, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Okay, let's see which one you like better. That's the lentils, and here's the croutons. You got a preference? Or, listen, you can go to the music store and spend $25 and get a, usually they come two together. Now, there's nothing like the sound of a maraca. It's awesome. But they're expensive. So, why not turn your cups into shakers? I got nice maracas here. And you're recycling and you're like doing cool things with them. So any empty container, Let's see what else we have in the magical music bag. Oh, look at this, a vitamin container. Save the vitamin container. Inside, I put the lentils again. And okay. Now remember, we didn't. One of the students felt that the noise was too subtle, like too soft. So what we did was we put in thumbtacks, and that made a great sound. Just you want to make sure you tape that baby up. Okay, how about? Oh yeah, how about this one? Let's see what we got. All right, check this one out. Okay, you're probably thinking this is an advertisement for Whole Foods. No, but I do like some of their products. And somebody jokingly called Whole Foods Whole Paycheck. But anyhow, this is the empty mint container. And I put in some jelly beans in there, okay? No joke. Check it out. Okay, so all these things I could do with my students when they were at home, learning at home. Oh man, how about just an empty bag? What the heck are we going to use this thing for? All right, you ready? Okay, I wanted just to also demonstrate a little bit about and also to show you the home studio. Okay, so once we saw that we're not going back, going back into March, that we're going to go back into the building after a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months. So I realized, of course, like all of us, what do we do? So I knew I had to bring some of the instruments and some of the technology into the home front. So I'll just show you a little bit. Got a little bit of the home studio right here. There's some percussion stuff and some of the guitars. Now, you know what they say, how many guitars does a guitarist need? Just one more. That's actually a banjo in the middle, but I knew I had to make it a fun, hands-on experience, as experiential as possible, just like we were in the classroom, only now we were doing it online. So obviously I would go to Teams, I would share my screen if I need to show them any sort of instructional video, a particular song that we're doing. Now, I should also mention to you that one of the cool things at the Quest Center that we do every morning is called the TQC News, the Quest Center News. And all of the special teachers, we are the quote-unquote special team, and that's made up of the art teacher, the adaptive phys ed teacher, the media teacher, and myself. There's 4 of us. And we each have a role to play in the morning news. So one of the teacher assistants does the pledge, and we get kids who are online coming to the TQC link on Teams, and one or several students will help out with the pledge. We show the pledge using pick symbols, with a shared screen, and then I'll do my music part, and I do what basically it's the music news for the day. And so I just look up what happened historically. You can go to the site. It's called onthisday.com. On this day, and they have things in history and things in sports, things in music, etc., etc. So obviously I'm more concerned with just doing the music part. And so we'll talk about maybe which musician had a birthday, what song was released, a passing of a singer, musician, band leader, whatever. And it's amazing the things that come up and the things that it leads to. So today, for example, was the inauguration of the 46th president, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris as VP. And so I decided, along with this theme, I was going to play with my students some marches from John Philip Sousa, in particular, Stars and Stripes Forever. So for the online classes, again, go into Teams, share your screen, and just look up YouTube. And there's so many fascinating things you can use every video as a leaping point, a starting point to branch off into other areas. And so I will show them, I'll play an orchestra piece of a band doing John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever. Who is John Philip Sousa? When did he live? What band did he conduct? Why is he called the March King? What is a march? What is a symphony? What is an orchestra? How do you play the big timpani drums? Does the person who crashes the cymbals, does he get paid as much as the violinists, as the saxophone players, as the horn players, who seem to do so much more? So it leads to all of these stimulating questions and conversations, and to it gets the brain wheels turning. And you want to enhance your students' critical thinking skills. So it's a wonderful tool. So a lot of people are afraid to, I don't want to start them on YouTube. First of all, they go there anyhow. They're much more computer savvy than most of us. And secondly, it leads to just these incredible educational adventures. And so why was there a stand-up bass in this symphony? And they don't even think they heard the instrument. So why was that there? How come this symphony has 5 percussionists? And so it just leads to these sort of fascinating things. And then you go back in time. For many students, they think that history is when they were a baby, and maybe they can sort of visualize when their parents were kids. But many of them have a rough time doing that. So for me, I always like to expand the horizons and show them that, music goes way back. And way back, I mean, you're talking thousands of years, when what was the basic sort of instruments was percussion. It was probably just with like branches, beating on hollowed out logs, beating on stones, beating on the ground, and then doing dancing from there. So I love to show them some of these kinds of instruments, and I'll just show you one. This is called the Cajon. Some people refer to this as a baby Cajon, and usually they are you sit on them, okay? And it's got a nice hollow space here, and that's why it makes a cool sound. So it's a big hollow box, and I can sit on the box and play it like so. All right, but in my classroom how I love to make it multi-sensory. So here we go. Excuse me. Wow. Lights off. All right. And I'm going to turn one of my lighting effects around. Let's move that one up. Okay, you're in for a little treat here. Okay. So here we go. Sitting on the Cajon, very cool. And it's got like a built-in snare piece. That's why it has that snare sort of sound to it. And here's the baby Cajon. You can see it's also a hollow piece, right? And this is really a cool little device you can take with you. You can go from class to class, and this will let the sound out. I can either cover the hole, leave it part way, or all the way. So let's cover it up, and I want you to hear the difference. Now let's open it up, get that sound really flowing. Listen to the difference. All right, and now check this out. It has also a snare on the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to put that snare so it's on top of the hitting surface, and it's going to sound like a snare drum. Drum roll, please. Cool, eh? And this thing, you can take the snare on or off. Okay, the baby Cajon. So there's so many different things you can do. And I guess what I try to do, let me just move up a little bit, besides making it hands-on and experiential for the students, they can play along to their favorite piece. You can have them just using their hands and drumming. You can, obviously, the more sophisticated the way, the more fun it is. Don't forget about the rain sticks. All right, these are always fun. Kids always like these. All right, and you can make your own. Just go online. I actually left the one we made, the homemade one, in school. But you can totally make these or buy them, and they are a lot of fun. And the ones that the homemade ones are made out of PVC piping, and you can just put nails in there, and then you add the goodies inside. But look it up online. All right. So, anything else in my room? I actually do have a couple accordions over there. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, that's an instrument that I am attempting. There we go. Okay, there it is. Okay, actually just in the past year or two got a couple accordions donated, which is nice. Anyhow, I want to thank in particular Coco Burns and the BEF for this opportunity. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you in person. If you have any questions or anything you want to consult with me about, please feel free. You can write to me. It's in my packet, david.lazarson@browardschools.com. And you ready? Let's play along. Let's go out with some music. Let's go out in style here. Okay, here we go. Let's count out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get your feet tapping. Come on. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1. Let's speed it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You did a great job. Awesome job. Thank you, everybody. Increase the peace. Stay positive. I always say this is the college that I go to on a daily basis. Positive state. All right. God bless. One love. And thank you for this opportunity. And happy teaching every day. Be on your A game. Peace out.